Darwin's specimens are particularly important to me because I often need to refer to them in terms of any new specimens that have been sent to me by international scientists from across the world. So I often refer back to parts of the spirit collection. So this is what I'm holding in my hand here, are some barnacles preserved in alcohol, 70% alcohol for preservation. This jar in particular contains specimens of species that Darwin originally described. So on the front of the label it says Ballanus palladus, and it has Darwin as the last name, and that means that Darwin is actually the original authority, so that's what we call it, and he wrote the original description of this species. And that would be detailed in his monograph, his works here that he did on the classification of barnacles. And I often need to refer to these books as well, because Darwin has given really detailed descriptions, the colour, the size, and also the areas that the barnacles were found. So I can often cross-reference that with any new material that comes in. If I know the locality of where the scientist who sent it to me, where it's from, I can refer to this book and also cross-reference and look at the new specimens that have been collected down the microscope, and also look at the older specimens that Darwin originally studied. Now, what's very important here within the collection is type material. Now, type material, and usually they're called holotypes, which is usually one specimen, or paratypes. So what I'm holding are paratype specimens, and that's the original species that was ever found at any place at any time in the world. So these are very important to myself and other scientists, because you often need to refer back not only to the original works such as Darwin's, but also to the original specimens. And these are marked within the collections that I manage with red paint. So that gives an indication when you go into the collections and you see the red paint that these are the type specimens. And the beauty of having access to this kind of material, that I know they are the exact specimens and they can be used to confirm new and recent identifications and new specimens that have been found. They're important also to distinguish, not only to confirm species with the same one in this jar, but also help me identify if I've got something new as well. So it might not actually be this species, so it's a new one. And then you have to go into further detail, going back to Darwin's work, and also going through other publications, more recent publications, looking at the particular localities where other scientists might have found a similar type specimen, and see whether there are any similarities or differences. And from then I may end up writing a new scientific paper, separately or jointly with another scientist, that will be published in a major scientific journal such as Zoo Keys or Zoo Taxa. And then that is then available to the wider scientific community and to the general public to have a look at and see what new species are being found in various parts of the world. And a lot of the specimens also, after scientists describe their specimens in these publications, a lot of the material is then sent here and kept. And so that is very special in itself, that the collection I work with is constantly growing. So we have the original specimens of Darwin, but also any future specimens are here alongside that collection. So it's a greater resource for everybody to access in the future.